Just like I, too, Addison Olds, a member of the 2024 Rally Planning Committee and 10th grade scholar at Lincoln Southeast High School, sang America. I am the biracial daughter. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, and I have been denied space, just like Hughes was at Columbia University in 1921 to 1922, and left because of racial prejudice and even denied room on campus because he was black. Oh, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen. Then besides, they'll see how beautiful I am, Addison Olds, sister of Catrice Olds and daughter of Katie Olds, and be ashamed. Yes, you better take a look, Lincoln, Nebraska, and United States. We are America. Your 2024 Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Youth Rally Planning Committee.
In 1900, James Weldon Johnson composed a poem that would become the hymn that in the 1920s would be adopted by the NAACP at the official Negro National Anthem, now referred to as the Black National Anthem. In 1899, James Weldon Johnson wrote a poem about the struggles and perseverance of the black community to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's birthday. His brother, J. Rosemont Johnson, suggested setting the poem to music. A chorus of 500 students sang the new hymn at the event. When the civil rights era began in the 1950s, Lift Every Voice and Sing was sung during organizational meetings for the Montgomery bus boycott and quoted in speeches by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In the 70s, Lift Every Voice and Sing was adopted as a symbol of resistance. Following King's assassination, a crowd in Roxbury, Massachusetts sang the song. James Brown slipped a line from the song into the national anthem before Muhammad Ali's bout against Chuck Webner. In 2009, Reverend Joseph Lowery quoted the song during presidential Barack Obama's inauguration. Singer Alicia Keys performed a pre-recorded version that aired before Super Bowl 55 in 2021. This song is a universal anthem that inspires and unites people. It reminds us to rise, remember our struggles, and lift our voices together. Please welcome Carrie Posey, a senior at Omaha Central, who will lend her talents to present to us Lift Every Voice and Sing. We ask if you could please stand.
Sing a song. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the glistening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Yeah. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us resound loud as the rolling sea.
My name is Kendall Jackson.
And my name is Amari Harris.
And we are members of the 2024 Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Youth Rally Planning Committee.
We have been asked to give you a land acknowledgement this morning.
Before we begin today, we want to acknowledge that we are living on the past, present, and future homelands of the Pawnee, Oda-Missouri, Omaha, and Kansas peoples.
The salt basins around present-day Lincoln attract many indigenous nations to this region. The Omaha call this area Nisikti, or salt, and their women used eagle feathers to collect the salt, which they used to cure buffalo meat.
Under the pressure from settlers and the federal government, the Otoe-Missourians ceded the land that became Lincoln to the federal government in 1833 and 1854. And this forced out the tribal peoples who had called the Nisikthi home for many generations.
Native peoples of many nations live in Lincoln today and contribute to our community's vitality and diversity. And today, we thank them for their stewardship of these lands. Wapilatonka.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Emma Brown, and I'm a four-year member of the annual Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Youth Rally Planning Committee. Most may think that the Planning Committee steps started 29 years ago, heeding a call to act by the late Dr. Leola Bullock, who challenged leaders of young people to come together and develop a celebration honoring the late Dr. King. But this Walk Together with Love began in 1963, when a 34-year-old Dr. Leola Bullock and the Reverend Everett Reynolds led marchers during a civil rights rally right here in the streets of Lincoln. Then again, Lincoln witnessed another Walk Together with Love when Dr. King visited Lincoln and was escorted by one of two black officers on the force, Mr. Albert Maxey being one of them. My walk began with this planning committee in 2021, as I recognize that the voice of young people commonly gets dismissed. Sometimes, due to my gender, due to my age, I'm expected to walk alone. Our planning committee's theme, Rally, Walk Together with Love, means lots of things. It means caring for individuals regardless of whether they're on the left or the right or independent. To walk together with love is to do so without hesitation and to promote a sense of inclusion, home, and belonging. I think throughout time and history, we are taught and not taught how walks would have generated a different outcome if they were done together. Together and with love. In 1937, acclaimed black dancer and film screen star Bojangles was informed he wasn't allowed to hold Shirley Temple's hand while filming the stair scene in the film, The Little Colonel. Temple insisted anyways and grabbed his hand during the act. This scene became the first time where an integrated pair was filmed dancing together on film. This love came easy. In 1951, Grace Kelly left an upscale restaurant, the Stork Club, with her whole party after witnessing no one willing to serve Josephine Baker, an African-American entertainer. Thereafter, Grace Kelly and Josephine Baker worked to regenerate Baker's career, and the two remained friends for life. Grace Kelly could have stayed at her table and enjoyed her night with her party. Grace Kelly could have stayed quiet and ignored the situation. But Grace knew that was wrong. She knew she had a privilege in that restaurant, in that moment in time, in that moment in history. She knew the purpose of that privilege was to use it in a way that made a way for both of them. A walk together with love. I've experienced walking together with love. Each week, when we as Rally Committee members come together and share our powerful pieces, insights, feelings, and calls to action, I know we are in this together. We are walking with purpose, and with each step, we are infusing equity, justice, kindness, civility, hope, and love. You are here today because you have chosen to rally with us, but I want more from you. Standing on this stage, it's no surprise to you all that I don't look like Dr. King. Gemma Chan says, "It's only when we stick up for one another and we stand side by side that things will shift." Those words stick with me and bring me to my challenge that I have for you today. Do something about the injustices surrounding you each and every day. It's commonly seen that when something doesn't affect one on a personal level, it is ignored. There cannot be more of that. We need action if we want change. So when you walk out of this room today, I want you to walk together with love.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. I hope everybody's day is going well. I know that you all came here today expecting Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but unfortunately, he had some other matters to attend to in the afterlife. So he has tasked me with Saleh with ensuring the message has been released to the general public. Think of me as a backup soul and spirit, here to sprinkle a bit of equality with a side of honesty. Today, I would like to use America as a subject for which to speak about, the other America. And I use this subject because there are literally two Americas. I know this as I live and navigate both daily here in 2024 as a Muslim, African, and as a young woman. One America is beautiful. It's peaceful. You can walk into a preschool classroom at the Belmont Community Center, otherwise known as the BCC, and you see kids of different ethnicities playing together, respecting each other, not knowing hate, not caring about how the other person differs in looks. That classroom encourages the youth to blossom into who they're meant to be. In this America, I'm accepted. This America is the habitat of millions of people who have food and material necessities for their bodies, education for their minds, freedom and human dignity for their spirit. In this America, millions of young people grow up in the sunlight of opportunity. It is a place where people can come together to create a better future for all. It is a place worth fighting for. But tragically and unfortunately, there is another America. In this America, my every action is under scrutiny to see if they are up to par with my peers. Here, I am viewed as an outsider, an intruder to a place in which I do not belong, on a land that should not have allowed my family to enter. This other America has a daily ugliness about it that constantly transforms the buoyancy of hope into the despair of fatigue. In this America, millions of work-starved people walk the streets daily in search of jobs that do not exist. They have limited access to health care and equitable education. Sad but true, all does not mean all. In 2024, we see this other America right here in Lincoln. Lincoln is a place where your zip code dictates your access to food and security. Your zip code dictates your wealth and what opportunities present themselves to you. Depending on where your zip code is, you could live 5 years less than a fellow Lincolnite in a different part of the city. Why is that? You would think that we have advanced from associating wealth with what neighborhood you live in and what type of education you would have access to. Why is a 17-year-old girl having to address a problem that's been present for decades? What are we doing, you all? We need to work together to create a society that is not only just, but prosperous for all.
Good afternoon. We are here today to take on the charge countless others have done with far less celebration. Something simple, a timeless principle of service above self. Service above self. Service above self. To walk together with love. I feel as did Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and A. Philip Randolph did, who made up and developed nonviolent strategies to protest discrimination against African Americans. The essence of true fulfillment lies in the selfless act of serving others. It's a commitment to a cause greater than oneself and a dedication that transcends personal interests. Service above self is not just a slogan, it's a philosophy that fuels change in our community. When we prioritize the needs of others, we foster a greater compassion and build bridges of understanding. What I see in this particular rally and those who personalize its purpose, which is greater than a mission, the life and dreams of the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King and rally founder Dr. Leola Bullock to promote positive youth action, is in turn a ripple effect, where one act of change inspires another, creating a tapestry of interconnectedness that strengthens the fabric of our community. And that is exactly why we are here today. It's personal. But to be honest, in being a leader, our pursuit of service, without even realizing it, it's discovered the profound joy that comes from lifting others. Whether it's leading a school event, volunteering in the community, or speaking to amazing groups like this one, filled with my peers, elected officials, and friends, we appreciate those watching from across the country and, yes, even the world. To our longtime stakeholders and our more seasoned constituents, everything, no matter how small, contributes to the collective force for good. Make it personal. As we embrace the principle of service above self, let's recognize the potential within each and every one of us, youth and adult, to make a meaningful impact. Together, we'll cultivate a culture where compassion is the currency and kindness is the driving force. And in doing so, we not only elevate our own lives, but contribute to the betterment of the future as a whole. Achieving Black excellence is not just a myth, a hobby, a buzzword. It's reality that stands in front of you today. It's me, Jeremiah Theork, senior at Lincoln High School and a member of the 29th annual Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Youth Rally. It's personal. It's my life's calling. From a young age, I've been enamored by the power of a single image to evoke emotions, provoke thought. I've dedicated hours to community service, honing my public speaking skills, and studying the works of Black leaders like Medgar Evers, like Julian Bond, for inspiration. My story conveys a sense of authenticity, and this skill allows me to create connections that resonate with others and leave a lasting impact. My story matters. I matter. Yes, I'm Black, and my life matters. Yes, again, my steps have to be more than intentional, personal, and filled with love that is service above self. And I'm going to say it again, just like Coach Prime said, it's personal.
Good afternoon. Music as an agent for change. With music's deep connection to the limbic system, people tend to find connections in music through memories. Certain songs take you to a certain time or a specific place in your life. Because of this, reminisce on a connection to music to go along with emotions it already arouses in us. Thinking of music as social activism, humans like Aretha Franklin raised their voices to highlight injustice, to motivate action, and sing songs to memorialize it. With sweet grooves like and lyrical jabs, these songs shape our engagement with our communities as and spur us into action. To gain one thing, respect. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a jazz and gospel fan. The wonderful singer Mahalia Jackson sang "Precious Lord, Take My Hand" at his funeral because it was his last song he requested before his death. The Freedom Riders employed freedom songs and spirituals as crucial to their nonviolent protest of racial inequality. American musicians have long used their craft as means to circulate ideas, challenge the conventional, and call people to action. I am J.D. Hardaway, a scholar from Goodrich Middle School, and it is my honor to introduce Lincoln Northwest High School scholars Amari Harris and Daisha Reed as they perform "The Color Purple."
Dear God, dear stars, dear trees, dear sky, dear people, near everything, dear God. God is inside me and everyone else. ever will be.
I came into this world with God,
And when I finally looked inside, I found it.
just as close as my breath is to me.
Just as close as my breath is to me. Rising like the sun is the hope that sets us free. Your heartbeat makes my heart beat when we share love like a kite of corn, like a honeybee, like a waterfall, all a part of me, like the color purple. Where do we come from? Now my eyes are open. Look what God has done. I don't think us feel old at all. I think this is the youngest us ever felt, yeah. Amen.
According to the United States Census Bureau, as of November 12, 2023, there are 335 million people living in America. And as of 2019, 45 million of those people are immigrants. I am one of those 45 million people. My name is Rafa Ahmed, and I'm a Sudaniya, the proud daughter of Ahmed Assir and Hana Al-Amin, as well as a member of the 29th annual Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Youth Rally Planning Committee. My family and I came to America in 2009 from Dubai, expecting the American dream. America paints the picture of freedom within our Constitution and our pledge, advertised as the land of the free. But how free are we really? And how much of that freedom is felt by America's immigrants? My poem, Syrup for My Mother, because everyone deserves to walk together with love as well as freedom. A young woman boards a tayyara, the plane. A husband beside her, a baby on her hip, a toddler at her ankles, and a dream in her mind that she, soon enough, will taste the sweet syrup that is freedom. ما بتتكلم إنجليزي. She speaks no English, but soon hopes to be in the land of the free, where she will face adversity so brief that she will not need to complain. But instead, تضحك. She will laugh and remember how sweet her life really is. Soon enough, she will taste the sweet syrup that is freedom. The plane is a bustle, but still it does not compare to the worrisome thoughts bouncing around Firasa in her mind. But as she sinks into the airplane seat, those worrisome thoughts float away, because she knows that soon enough, she will taste the sweet syrup that is freedom. They arrive in America, where she imagines cities all sticky and drenched with that sweet syrup. But sooner than later, she will realize that her dreams were all amiss, that the freedom she wished and yearned for so deeply would be a treat far too sweet for her. A treat dangled in front of her, but never handed to her as it is to others. Will she ever taste the sweet syrup that her heart has been set on for so long? The woman works as Americans do. She loves her kids as Americans do. She lives in America as Americans do. She's an American, right? She has the same documents Americans do. She was promised this American dream. But soon she realizes the world does not believe she is a true American. She then tears those dreams down, replacing them with ajdad, newer and easier to achieve dreams. She puts her own well-being behind those of her children. She still dreams, of course, but now it is for her 4 kids to taste that sweet syrup, even if she cannot taste it herself. That young woman who had to tear her dreams down is my mother. My mother who flipped her whole life upside down to move to America as she wanted to give us a life far better than hers, as do so many others. Little does she know that every bit of activism, advocacy, and involvement that I do is so that Ana u Ummi, me and my mother, and so that any and everyone can taste the sweet syrup that is freedom.
We wanted to take a minute and recognize a few who are watching for us today and sharing their Love Is message.
Shout out to Mr. Bob Baker and his class at Bellevue Public School.
Shout out to the Omaha Central Eagles of Omaha Public Schools. Go Eagles.
Catrice Olds.
Daniel Fay and Doral Academy in Las Vegas.
Co-conspirator Mr. Keith L. Brown, aka Mr. I Am Possible from Georgia.
To all those in Lincoln Public Schools, we all means all.
From Dr. Sandras Diaz and Jaden Ferguson at University of Nebraska-Kearney.
Those at Hastings College.
Dr. Helen Fagan in Lincoln, Nebraska.
And to you, thank you for watching. Share, tag, and post your response to Love Is as you engage with the components of today's rally.
Tag Mr. Rally 93 on Twitter/X, our Facebook page, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Youth Rally, or on Instagram at the Youth Rally _NE.
As always, you can check out our website at mokyouth.rally.com.
And quite possibly the farthest viewer, everyone else in the world, if you are watching.
I've been coming to this rally since I was very little. You could imagine little 7-year-old me marching to the state capitol. Not understanding what's going on, I pulled my hat over my eyes and clung to my dad's hand as we walked. I couldn't see, but yet there was something there, a certain feeling. The feeling of raw emotion, a spark of fire. The air, electric, would change. Every breath taken, every word shouted, you could feel the history and the sorrow and the time behind that march. Thinking back, I was safe. Safe is not what got us here today. Think of the peaceful marches turned bloody, the Woolworths counters turned food fights, and the killings covered up by the very people who were supposed to protect the victims. Hidden no more is James Byrd Jr., whose death finally called attention to the hate that still exists today. But what about the ones we don't know when we hear their name? The ones who fought to be first, and the ones who went unnamed for the sake of the cause? What about the hidden figures? The names John Lewis and Rosa Parks are often mentioned when it comes to equality for all races and genders. But hidden no more are names like David Walker and Harriet Jacobs. Hidden no more is the cry from Aaron Henry as he was being surrounded by police and fire engines. Amid the sirens and the chaos, you can imagine him saying, "The fire within us cannot be extinguished with water." The fire. That's what got us here. We did not get here by simply waiting. The hidden had the fire. Think of the people who have tried over and over and over again to extinguish our flame. But we will not let them take our spark, our steps. Hidden no more is that spark, now burning wildfire. That spark starts from the soul and builds. Hidden no more is Shirley Chisholm, who took that spark and ran with it against all odds and against men. People chose to ignore her positives, like her brains and her knack for speaking, but chose to look at her negatives as they saw it, her as a black woman. That only fueled her fire more. So she decided to run for the New York State Assembly. If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair, she said. So she unfolded her chair, sat down, and got to work. She got her hard-earned spot, and she'd gone for years to do bigger and better things, like being the first black woman to be elected to the U.S. House of Representatives and even run for President of the United States. But why are so many of her steps hidden? Why do we show young girls and boys of this world that this is all women and people of color can do? Sit and be obedient no matter how badly we are treated? This is the system,
the cycle that has been repeated for thousands of years. So hidden no more is that cycle. My steps, yes, even as a 7th grader, have led me away from that cycle and take me through the beaten and barren road of truth. Here I am today, sitting in front of you, speaking my truth. Hidden no more is me, Brecklin Dyson, a 7th grader, an athlete, a musician, an artist, and a strong woman, no longer captive to the cycle. A woman with a voice who is no longer scared to use it. Thank you, Ms. Shirley Chisholm.
May it please the court, we, Belmont Associates Law Firm, stand before you here today representing justice. Today, we will tell you about the people who have come before us and fight for such justice. Permission to approach the bench.
And I say to you this afternoon that if you never found something so dear and so precious that you'll die for it, then you aren't fit to live. You died when you refused to stand up for truth. You died when you refused to stand up for justice.
Justice is the words that are loud on the news by politicians and educators. It's said in classrooms across the country. It's said in the Pledge of Allegiance. It's stamped on the courthouse walls. It's written on signs and chanted by protesters. What does it mean? I enter into evidence, and as you must know their names: Thelma Mothershed Ward, Carlotta Walzanier, Terrence Roberts, Ernest Green, Gloria Ray Comer, Minnie Jean Brown Trickey, Melba Patilla Beals, and Jefferson Thomas. I ask this community court not to stay silent. A white local reporter, Benjamin Fine, didn't stay silent that day either. He stood up for me. Educator Grace Laura didn't stay silent. She may have gotten into trouble, good trouble, guarding me from the mob that day, because justice is when you're silent, other people are speaking for you.
Justice is what if the building blocks of America has been hard won, slow in coming, and sometimes even dangerous. We enter into evidence. In our case, justice is a picture book written by former U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara and illustrated by Sue Corneliuson.
Justice is. It takes hard work and an open mind. Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey, or you may know me better as Frederick Douglass, an American social reformer, abolitionist, orator, writer, and statesman. So I asked President on July 5th, 1852, to the fine ladies of Rochester Ladies Anti-Slavery Society. What to the slave is the 4th of July? My answer is a no thanks to slave-holding wing of Supreme Court. My hopes were never brighter than now. I have no fear that the national conscience will be put to sleep by such an open, glaring, scandalous tissues of lies that the decision is and has been over and over shown to be. Where justice is denied, where poverty is enforced, where ignorance prevails, and where any one class is made to feel that society is an organized conspiracy to oppress, rob, and degrade them, neither persons nor property will be safe.
To find justice, ask what kinds of people to join your search. Justice needs to hear every side of your story. Your Honor, justice is me. Justice Sonia Maria Sotomayor is the third woman, the first woman of color, the first Hispanic, and the first Latina to serve on the Supreme Court. Justice is my dissenting opinion that we must understand the devastating impact on justice, and our decisions cannot be overstated.
Justice asks questions, lots of them. Just like Ida B. Wells did, shining a spotlight, lynching for women's right to vote. Just like I was right to march. 1913, segregation parade in Washington, D.C. I dared to ask. They asked that all colored women march to the back parade. I refused and stood on the sidelines until a white woman passed, at which point I joined the march.
Justice isn't afraid to right a wrong. Sojourner Truth, Your Honor. I was born into slavery around the year 1797, and my parents, John and Elizabeth, named me Isabella. I stand before this community and ask as I did in 1851 at the Ohio's Women's Rights Convention. Ain't I a woman? Look at me. Look at my arm. I have plunged and planted and gathered into barns, and no man could head me. And ain't I a woman? They talk about this thing in the head. What did they call it? That's it, honey. What's that got to do with women's right or Negroes' rights? If my cup won't hold but a pint and yours holds a quart, wouldn't you be mean not to let me have my little half measure full? The first woman ever made was strong enough to turn the world upside down all alone. These women together ought to be able to turn it back and get it right side up. And now they is asking to do it, and the men better let them. Oblige you for hearing me, and now Old Southern Truth ain't got nothing more to say.
Justice is the words that are loud on the news by politicians and educators. It's said in classrooms across the country. It's said in Pledge Allegiance. It's stamped on the courthouse walls. It's written on signs and chanted by protesters. What does it mean? I enter into evidence, and as you must know their names. I enter into evidence. Justice is for the late Denise McNair, who rests in power as one of the 4 girls who were killed in 1963 when their 16th Street Baptist Church was bombed in Birmingham. I enter into evidence. Justice is July 1958 in Wichita, Kansas, when students led sitting at the Dockham drugstore to end segregation. I enter into evidence. Justice is 1968 in Memphis when sanitation workers wore and carried signs that read, "I'm a man."
Justice can be slow. It is said no one truly knows a nation until one has been inside its jails. A nation should not be judged by how it treats its highest citizens, but its lowest ones. I, Nelson Mandela, was imprisoned for 27 years by the South African apartheid government. My crime? Standing up against a government that's committing human rights abuses against black South Africans. Released from prison in 1990 and went on to lead the abolition of apartheid in 1994.
Justice is. It can even be denied for a long time. This was a reality for 120,000 Japanese Americans February 19, 1942, when the Executive Order 9066, issued by U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, forcibly removed Japanese Americans from their homes. Adults, community leaders, and scholars just like me were sent to internment camps to experience discrimination.
But don't lose hope. Justice is always there, waiting for good people to find their voices. Justice is he, him, they, them, she, her. Justice being open. Justice is hope. Standing before you like Harvey Milk, a civil rights activist, community leader, one of the first openly gay officials in the United States. In 1977, when he was elected to the Board of Supervisors, I, Jalea Loudermilk, put forward words of hope as he did on the steps of San Francisco City Hall. I can't forget what it was like coming out, having nobody to look up towards. I can't remember the looks on faces of people who have lost hope. All they have to look forward to is hope. You have to give them hope. Hope for a better world. Hope for a better tomorrow. Hope that all will be all right. Without hope, not only are the gays, but the blacks, the seniors, the handicapped, the us's will give up. And you, and you, and you have to give them hope.
Justice is waiting for brave people to stand up together because justice can't do it alone. At times, many an army at us back. To see so many people, leaders, scholars, educators, it gives me great hope that we're going to get there, but we must help it work out. We must continue to be bold, brave, courageous, push and pull to redeem the soul of America and move closer to a community at peace with itself and move closer to... But no one will be left out because of race, color, or nationality. Yes, judge and jury, my life is a black life, and it matters.
Sometimes one clear voice can shine through the darkness and say, this is not right. But we must always stand watch, because injustice is waiting too. We the people must make laws to protect justice. 55 years ago, a few of our children attended the me and John Lewis to march in Selma, Alabama. Across this bridge, we were beaten. We were tear-gassed. I thought I was going to die on this bridge. But somehow, in some way, God Almighty helped me here. To see hundreds and thousands of young people with their mothers, with their fathers, with their grandparents, to see black, white, Hispanics, and others standing together, walking together, talking together, to not forget what happened and how it happened. We got to make America better for our people. When no one left out or left behind because of race, the color, or piece where they came from, he said,
We're one people. We're one family.
No! We'll continue this case, even after your ruling to ensure justice is.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. The News Roundup was a section of the Student Voice, which was a mainstay of the popular Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee publication. The Roundup offered an at-a-glance look at the struggle for freedom around the country, as well as strategies and tactics used in various states and counties in an attempt to discourage, disrupt, and destroy the movement. It prepared headlines and provided content that served as fuel for hope. Just as the Roundup did, I want to offer you a perspective from a student's voice in Lincoln and give a glimpse of some of today's struggles, but more importantly, how we can use some of Lincoln's love to overcome these. Dr. Maya Angelou so said, "Love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls, to arrive at its destination full of hope." Love is when a good deed is done without recognition or reward. Just as the 25,000 who donated more than $7.5 million to 456 nonprofits as part of the 12th annual Give to Lincoln Day. We stand in love with the Lincoln Community Foundation, who ensured there will be no barriers by all participating organizations signing an anti-discrimination policy to be recipients of funds affirming they do not discriminate as to race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, age, ethnicity, national origin, marital status, military status, disability, or any other status prohibited by applicable law in the provision of programs and services or in employment. Since 2021, Lincoln Love is in the thousands, who come together to show their love and support as members of the LGBTQ+ community during the now annual Star City Pride Parade. There is significant power taking place in the streets and on the steps of our Capitol, where bills and laws were once and are currently being passed to prohibit equal rights and access. Lincoln is rapidly growing, from new schools such as Standing Bar High School and Northwest High School to upcoming local businesses. Our city is growing, and that means our Lincoln Love needs to grow as well. In our home that we call Lincoln, we are capable of making impacts past city limits, and that has proven to be true. My friend and fellow committee member, Rafa Ahmed, an immigrant who has lived her life in Lincoln, seeks the love of community, the love of safety. She, as do all of her family, seek the love that is Lincoln. I, Kendall Jackson, a 9th grade scholar and a member of the 29th annual Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Youth Rally Planning Committee, commit to the day where Rafa achieves the dreams that she and her family worked for. That Rafa can say, Lincoln Love was there for her, by her side, on her journey to taste her sweet syrup. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Polarization has been a word thrown around since before the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was working towards the beloved community, a community to which we all belong to, in which we all live in freedom. King described it as a space of social equity and belonging, peace and freedom from prejudice. Polarization, as defined by Merriam-Webster's dictionary, is the division into two sharply distinct opposites. My definition is simple. Division between people on group lines that push them away from each other. The problem with polarization is that it looks and feels natural. And that is the danger we face. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose symbolic eminence and legacy we stand here today, was disliked by 2/3 of the American population during the time he was alive. He was hated enough for a man driven by simple disagreement and subscription of belief to assassinate him. Although that was half a century ago when those events unfolded, polarization still exists today. Like when people of different religions and ideologies pick up extremist dogma to justify extermination of all those who don't fit their mold. In our personal struggles to found and find a better world for those who will eventually take our place, it is necessary to know of those who have endured great divisions in the past, just as we need to do today. Dara Shikoh, the Crown Prince of Mughal India, who through his life was beloved and fostered great understanding between the Hindus and Muslims, through his personal struggles, learned that the answer is not to push people away, but to study both of the ways that the now belligerent societies viewed themselves and the world. Dara would say that in the garden of humanity, let us cultivate the flowers of tolerance and understanding, for they blossom beyond the walls of division. And this year, where we are going to be put against each other, we don't have to be polarized at the ballot box, especially when the ballot box is the great equalizer. I asked last year, why do you keep coming back? And I pose this similar question to you today. But also, just as the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wanted, stand with each other in this eventful year when we are pitted against each other for exercising our rights to vote, and have our brothers and sisters split into evil against good and good against evil. We must make sure that we walk together with love and never forget each other's humanity. After all, we haven't forgotten what happened to Emmett Till, have we? Have we? During Nelson Mandela's inaugural address in 1994, he said, "The time for the healing of the wounds has come. The time to walk together has come."
Friends, at 5 o'clock today, the leaders whom you have heard will go to President Kennedy to carry the demands of this revolution. It is now time for you to act. I will read each demand and you will respond to it so that when Mr. Wilkins and Dr. King and the other 8 leaders go, they are carrying with them the demands which you have given your approval to. The first demand is that we have effective civil rights legislation, no compromise, no filibuster, and that it include public accommodations, decent housing, integrated education, fair employment practices, and the right to vote. What do you say?
Yes.
They want that we demand that organizations are actively engaging in anti-racism work and making efforts towards change. What do you say?
Yes.
We demand that all students have the opportunity to attend schools in which they will not face bias or discrimination. What do you say?
Yes.
We demand representation of minoritized groups in all branches of government, our school board, and decision-making entities. What do you say?
Yes.
We demand an ordinance to ban all sorts of income discrimination in all housing in the city of Lincoln. What do you say?
Yes.
We demand that every person in this nation, without regard to race, be given equal opportunity and justice and be treated with the same love and dignity. What do you say?
Yes.
We demand that all people receive equal pay and access to a living wage. What do you say?
Yes.
We finally demand that all of the rights that are given to any citizen be given to black men and men and women of every minority group. We demand. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I will read the pledge. This is a pledge which says our job has just begun. You pledge to return home to carry on with steps towards love. May you stand. Standing before the stage on the 15th of January, I pledge to carry the message of the march to my friends and neighbors back home and arouse them to an equal commitment and equal effort. I will march and I will write letters. I will demonstrate and I will vote. I will work to make sure that my voice and those of my brothers and sisters ring clear from every corner of our land. I pledge my heart and my mind and my body unequivocally and without regard to personal sacrifice, to the achievement of social peace through social justice. I pledge to walk together with love.
Elijah, Elijah, Elijah. Satan is a liar and a conjurer too. You don't mind how he'll come for you. If I could, I surely would stand on the rock where Moses stood. Elijah rock, shout, shout, shout. Elijah rock, coming up, Lord. Elijah rock, shout, shout. Elijah rock, coming up, Lord. Ezekiel said he saw him as a wheel in the middle of the wheel. John talked about him in the book of the seven seals. Some call him the Rose of Sharon, others call him the Prince of Peace. But good God Almighty, my God, he been a rock and a shelter to me. Hallelujah. Elijah rock, shout, shout. Elijah rock, coming up, Lord. Elijah rock, shout, shout. Elijah rock, coming up, Lord. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Our rally is on the shoulders, like strategist Bayard Rustin, who visioned a step that came to fruition August 28, 1963, the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. 12-year-old Edith Lee Payne attended the March on Jobs in Washington. As I'm here today, Jeremiah Jackson from the 29th Annual Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Youth Rally Planning Committee, and a scholar from Omaha, yes, Omaha Central. She knew she'd be attending that march that day, that youth can carry forward the word of the people, but not only the word of the people, but the words of the people. In the same way, countless faces like you, and you are the face of the rally as we are here today in Lincoln, Nebraska. Next year marks our rally's 30th year. Our goal is to put together the largest peaceful protest in the city. How big? To fill up the steps of the Capitol building? We've done that. To fill up the Warren Chamber at State Capitol? We've done that. At a program at the Leatt Center? Yeah, we've done that. My father has never taught us to dream small, but always dream big. Rustin's dreams were also big. 100,000 people big. A massive one-day engagement to empower, educate, and engage scholars, adults, and doubters beyond Lincoln City limits. This experience will be made up of angelic troublemakers such as yourself, with bold and inspiring ideas. The execution of this rally will demand all groups be tightly drawn together and become one. Not one Lincoln, not one day, but a challenge for schools, organizations from across the state, and okay, even Iowa, to come together as they did in 1963, flooding the Lincoln Mall and pouring out of buses. We want Beyonce to show up. We will flood the city this day next year, but also the ballot box in November. We'll use our voices in classrooms and universities. We will flood the city with love. And for those who doubt, I demand, let's not kill an impulse before it's born. What if instead of attendees, this room was filled up with upstanders, co-conspirators from their respective intuitions, grades, businesses, political affiliations, and states to come under one umbrella, love. Now that would be something, wouldn't it? For all the doubters and those who oppose equality, civility, and justice to come and sing and serenade the president and say, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Keep on moving, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Will you commit to January 20th, 2025, our 30th anniversary of this rally? Will you come here today as you showed up for the last multiple years that you've come? Like David said last year, we expect more from you and want you all to walk in love.
On behalf of the Planning Committee, thank you for watching. Thank you for your support of the Youth Rally's mission. Promotion of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life and dreams through positive youth action. The committee would like to make special note of those who helped us address challenges and make this component of the rally a reality. Thank you to the City of Lincoln, Bo Wolf, and his team at LNK City TV. Our empowerment shareholders are some of our top-tier financial investors. They have been supporting the work you've seen today and the work happening behind the scenes. Raft by Polytech, Lisa and Michael Alvarez, 93.7 The Ticket KNTK Radio, Peter Ferguson BHS LLC, Helen Fagan and Associates, Food Bank of Lincoln, and The Lighthouse. I would like to give special recognition to our rally advisors, so when I say your name, could you please stand up? Dr. Jake Kirkland, one of the original founders of the rally. Emily Koopman. Brittany Hodges-Bulkov. And Peter Ferguson, who has served as lead adult advisor. Visit our website, mlkyouthrally.com, to see our full list of stakeholders, and don't forget to post and share with us on social media. We want you to finish the statement, love is. After watching, and tag us to show your solidarity, your support, and your commitment to walk together with love.
Please do not hesitate to contact us or Peter Ferguson at mlkyouthrally.com or mlkyouthrally@gmail.com with questions, or if you wish to support or be a Youth Rally Planning Committee member. In this weather, we hope the first meeting for Rally 2025 is in Hawaii. Oprah, if you're watching, make this happen. We close with the words King penned in his 1967 book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community? He stated, now we got to get this thing right. What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. Justice at its best is correcting everything that stands against love. And if you're available, we will be having this rally in person tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the Student Union. And we would love to see you all there. Thank you.